Welcome to Mr. Disturbing. Tonight, we're plunging into the dark heart of the Appalachians with some truly unsettling true horror stories. That'll keep you up all night. If you're brave enough, smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next descent into fear. I'm 58 years old. I live alone in an old shack off Route 129, about 5 miles past Robbinsville, North Carolina. Most people don't come out this way anymore, and if they do, they don't stay long. My place sits on the edge of a hollow, tucked under thick pine cover. No electricity, no running water. I chose it that way. After 30 years working underground, you get used to the dark, used to things that most people run from. The house used to belong to a man named Jack Tiller. He died in the 70s. Nobody talks about how. They just say he went too deep. That's what caught my interest when I bought the land. It came cheap, too cheap. They said it was cursed, or haunted, or just unlucky. But I've never believed in curses. Only pressure, time, rock. I came here after I lost my job in Kentucky. The coal dried up, and so did the contracts. What I didn't tell most folks was that I'd already been hearing things before I left. Sounds in the old tunnels, breathing, tapping, like someone was trying to answer back. I figured I'd lost sleep, too much dust in the lungs. But when I moved out here, it followed me. The shack sits about 100 yards from an old mine entrance, sealed with timber and rusted chain. No record of what was mined here, no name, no markers, just an old black hole sunk into the mountain. The earth around it smells strange, like wet copper. When it rains, the puddles near it don't reflect the sky. I noticed that my first week here. I stopped going near it after that, but the sounds didn't stop. Sometimes late at night I'd hear rocks shift, soft scraping, like claws on stone. It would echo under the floorboards, always below, always deep. I told myself it was groundwater, earth settling. But I'd worked mines long enough to know what that sounds like. This wasn't that. This sounded alive. By my 3rd month, I stopped sleeping through the night. I'd wake up at 3:11 a.m. almost exactly. Sometimes to knocking, sometimes to the sound of distant digging. One night I heard a scream. Not human, but not animal either. Just wrong. The kind of sound that makes your spine freeze. The kind of sound that feels old, like it remembers you. I thought about leaving once, packed a bag, started the truck, but it wouldn't start. Battery dead, engine cold. Then I saw the footprints, barefoot, human-shaped, but too long, too narrow, 5 toes, deep impressions in the gravel, like it had walked straight out of the mine and circled my truck. Twice. I didn't sleep that night, just sat on the porch with a flashlight and a rifle, listening, watching. It didn't come again until a week later, the same hour, same sound, like something wet dragging across stone. And then, tapping on the wall behind my bed. 3 taps. Slow. Then silence. I didn't move, didn't breathe. I just lay there, eyes open, staring at the ceiling. It tapped again, closer, then again, from underneath the bed. I moved out of that room the next morning, slept on the porch for a while, but the sounds followed. They got louder, closer, more frequent. Then came the dreams. I'd see tunnels, endless, twisting, breathing. Something moved in them, not walking, crawling, fast, like it was hungry, like it could smell me. I'd wake up sweating, sometimes bleeding, nose, gums, once from my ears. I went to the doctor in town. He said it was stress, high blood pressure, lack of vitamins. He didn't see the bruises or the scratch marks. Long, thin, too deep for fingernails. I started keeping the lights on, all night. Oil lamps, candles, but they'd flicker when the sounds came. Every time. No wind, no open windows, just flickering and breathing. always from beneath the floor. I tried sealing the cracks, stuffed towels, nailed shut the floorboards, but the wood would warp, curl, like it didn't want to stay closed. I started marking the time, every night, 3:11, sometimes earlier, never later. I thought maybe it was sleep paralysis, a trick of the brain, but then I saw it, just once, out by the mine, right before dawn, tall, thin, covered in dirt, its arms too long, fingers scraping the rocks. It didn't walk. It flowed, moved like smoke through water. No eyes, no face, but it looked at me. I know it did. I felt it. Cold, deep in my stomach, like I was being buried alive. It slipped back into the mine before I could move, before I could scream. That was 2 months ago, and it hasn't left since. I haven't been the same since. Something changed that morning. The air felt heavier. The shadows moved slower, like time had bent slightly, just enough to notice. I stopped going near the mine, boarded the path with scrap wood, nailed shut every window facing that direction. But I still felt it watching, especially at night. The sound of the wind changed. Less like wind, more like whispering. Low, wet, rhythmic, like something speaking through a throat filled with mud. I tried to leave again, hiked down to the main road. No signal, no cars, just silence. I waited for hours, but the trees got closer. I swear they did. I kept blinking, and they kept shifting, until the road was gone, covered in roots, wrapped in shadow. I turned back, but my house wasn't where I left it. The path twisted, doubled back. The hills didn't make sense anymore. I walked in circles for hours, until night fell. And then I heard it again, the dragging, closer now, slower, like it knew I was tired, like it was waiting. I didn't run, I couldn't. My legs were too heavy, my lungs too cold. I just collapsed beneath a pine and shut my eyes. When I woke up, I was back on my porch, covered in pine needles, mouth full of dirt, no footprints around me. No sign I'd moved. But something was different. The front door was open, and nailed to it was a small, flat rock, perfectly square, and on its surface, carved deep into the stone, my name. I hadn't told anyone where I moved. No one even knew I was alive. But something else did. I left the rock alone, buried it under the shed. But the next night, there were 3 more, each closer to the bed, each with symbols I'd never seen. One of them bled when I touched it. Not much, just a drop, thick, black. It hissed when it hit the floor. I burned that one, threw it in the stove and watched it crack. But the sound it made wasn't stone. It screamed, just once, like something alive. Then silence. I haven't used the stove since. Haven't eaten either. The hunger's still there. But the fear is louder. The mind started breathing again. I know how that sounds, but I worked enough tunnels to know the rhythm. Rock shifts one way, air another. This wasn't that. This was lungs, huge, ancient, drawing in cold mountain air and letting it out slow. Sometimes I feel the ground swell beneath my boots, like it's waking up, or like it never slept. I found old tools near the edge one morning. Pickaxe, helmet, belt with a cracked leather pouch. The metal was warped, melted like wax. The helmet had no head inside, just a hollow black cavity, and inside the pouch, fingers, human, clean, wrapped in cloth, still wet. I buried them, said nothing. I think it's almost here. I feel it in my bones. They ache when the sun goes down. They hum when the mind breathes. My skin no longer feels right. It stretches different, thinner, translucent in the wrong light. I can see the veins underneath, and sometimes they move, not with my pulse, but with something deeper, something older. I haven't seen my reflection in weeks. The glass won't hold me. I look, and the mirror shows the shack empty, or worse, full of shapes that don't move when I do. I think I'm slipping, not losing my mind, just sliding into something else, becoming part of the ridge, part of the hollow, part of the thing that waited too long in the dark. It whispers louder now. From beneath the floorboards, from behind the trees, from inside my mouth when I sleep. I wake up speaking words I don't understand, but they feel right, like I was born knowing them. Sometimes I hear crying, a child's voice, far below the house. It sobs, gurgles, stops, then laughs. I dug again yesterday, behind the shed, just to see if it was real. I found hair, coarse, matted, still rooted in skin, a jawbone. Not human, too flat, teeth too many. It smiled when I touched it. I burned it. The smoke turned black, fell like snow, covered my boots, melted into the ground. That night the mine exhaled, hard, loud, a gust so strong it knocked the trees. My door swung open, and I smelled it again. That thick, rotting sweetness, like meat under the floor. I didn't move, just watched, waited. It didn't come in, but it wanted to. I think it was waiting, testing. Last night I saw something in the field, something walking slow, crooked. Its arms dragged behind it, its head tilted too far, its eyes, if they were eyes, blinked out of sync. I don't think it was alone. Shadows moved with it, behind it, inside it. I don't know how else to explain it. The sky turned wrong, stars rearranged, trees leaned back, the ground felt soft, like breathing skin. I dropped to my knees, and I heard the song again, that deep humming sound, like stone moaning. It called my name, clear this time, not whispered, not imagined, spoken, loud, final. My ears bled, my teeth cracked, I wept. I crawled back inside, locked the doors, nailed them shut again. But the nails rusted within hours, the wood split, like it was rejecting me, like the house no longer belonged to me. This morning I found my name carved into the wall, dozens of times, some backward, some upside down, some still fresh. I didn't carve them, but my hands were bleeding, my fingernails broken. Something wrote through me. I haven't eaten in a week. I don't feel hunger anymore. Just weight, pressure, like I'm being pulled downward, into the earth, into whatever's breathing down there. I think it chose me, or maybe I chose it, long ago, before I was born, before the first stone cracked. Maybe this land doesn't just remember, maybe it never forgets. I dream of tunnels now, not carved by men, but by things older, things that didn't need light, that moved through the dark like thoughts, like whispers, like roots. I dream of hands reaching up from below, not to drag me down, but to welcome me back. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not sure that's good. I just feel ready, like a door unlocked, like a gate left open. The mine is calling again. The chains are gone. The boards rotted through. The air inside glows faintly now, pale, blue, like moonlight underwater. I can hear it breathing, waiting, wanting. I think I'll go tonight, just to look, just to see, just to remember. And if I don't come back, don't look for me. Don't come near the hollow. Don't touch the earth that breathes. Don't listen to the knocking. And whatever you do, never go down into the mine. I'm 37 years old. I live alone in an old ranger's cabin on the edge of Monongahela National Forest. I moved out here 3 years ago after my discharge. 8 years in the Army, 3 deployments. I've seen death. I've heard men scream. But nothing follows you like silence. Out here, there's plenty of it. The cabin sits 20 yards from the tree line. Past that is nothing but forest. No neighbors. No towns for miles. Just trees. Too many trees. I chose this place because I wanted peace. Wanted to be forgotten. And for a while, I got exactly that. But there's something wrong with this forest. Not the whole thing. Just a part of it. A line. A boundary. Where the trees shift. Where the air changes. Where the animals won't go. I first noticed it in my second month. I'd walk the perimeter every morning, keep myself in shape. The trail looped near the southern ridge, rocky, steep, and then it dipped into pine cover. That's where it began. The silence. Not natural silence. No wind, no birds, no bugs, just stillness. Like something had swallowed the air. The first time I stepped into that stretch, I felt pressure in my ears. Like altitude change, but worse. Like something pushing back. I turned around, thought nothing of it. But the next day, it was worse. The trees didn't look right. Their bark was smooth, damp, like skin. The branches curved the wrong way, and the ground was soft, spongy. I stopped going near it after that, marked it on my map, labeled it dead zone. But the forest didn't like being ignored. I started hearing clicks at night, soft, repetitive, like something tapping against the window. I checked. Nothing there. But every morning I found mud prints, bare feet, small, human-like, but not quite. The toes were long, too long, and the arch was missing, flat, like a child's drawing. They always stopped at the porch, never led away. I set up cameras, motion sensors, traps. They never triggered, but the prints kept coming. Then the scratching began, on the walls, the ceiling, under the floorboards. I pulled up the planks, nothing there, but the wood was wet. Not water, sticky, dark, like sap or blood. It smelled like iron, and copper, and meat. I stopped sleeping in the bedroom, started drinking more. Just to pass out, just to get a few hours of dreamless dark. But the dreams came anyway. I saw the forest, deeper than I'd ever gone. Black trees, no sky. Something moved between them, thin, pale, crawling low to the ground. Its eyes blinked sideways, and it smiled when it saw me. I'd wake up sweating, sometimes bleeding, once with dirt in my mouth. I started nailing the windows shut, covered the mirrors, burned sage, salted the doors. Nothing helped. One morning I found symbols etched into the siding, not carved, burned. Perfect circles, spirals. One of them looked like an eye. I painted over them. They came back, deeper, cleaner, almost deliberate. I hiked back out to the forest line, just to see if it had changed. It had. The trees were black now, covered in some kind of mold. The silence was heavier. I held my breath, and I swear I heard something breathing back. I left fast, never looked back. That night something knocked, not on the door, on the wall above my bed. 3 slow knocks, then again, same rhythm, then whispers. Not in my ears, in my head. Come see. I didn't sleep that night, didn't move, just stared at the wall until dawn. When I looked, there were fingerprints, long, thin, too many joints, pressed into the drywall, as if something had reached through from the other side. I should have left, I know that, but I didn't. Something held me, not fear, not curiosity, something deeper, like I belonged to it, like I was already inside it, even though I hadn't crossed the line. It got worse after that. The knocks came every night, same time, same rhythm. 3 slow taps, then silence, then the whisper, come see. Always the same, like a recording played behind the wall. My dog stopped barking, just stared at the tree line, eyes wide, tail between her legs. One night she pissed herself on the porch, then ran, bolted into the woods. I called for hours, she never came back. But the next morning, her collar was on my doorknob, still warm, no blood, no fur, just the collar. I didn't cry. I couldn't. It was like the fear had hollowed me out, left nothing behind, just weight. I started blacking out, losing time. I'd wake up with dirt on my knees, leaves in my bed, my hands raw, splinters under my nails. Like I'd been digging, like I'd gone into the forest without knowing. One night I woke up standing at the edge of the line, just staring, my bare feet freezing, the wind dead still. I don't remember walking there, but my heart was calm, my breathing even, like I belonged, like I never left. The trees swayed without wind. The ground pulsed once, and I felt it again. The pressure, like something huge shifting beneath the surface, like the forest exhaled through my chest. I ran back to the cabin, locked the door. But it followed. Not physically, just the feeling, the scent, wet bark, rotting moss, ash. My hands shook for hours. I stopped using my phone. It glitched too often. Screens flickered, static hissed from the speaker. Once the camera turned on by itself. Snapped 5 photos. I didn't open them. I deleted them blind. But they came back the next day, auto-synced to the cloud. The thumbnails were black, but when I zoomed in, there were eyes. In the dark, dozens, staring back, some too high, some too low, some sideways. I smashed the phone, buried it behind the shed, but the same night, it rang. No power, no signal, just a soft buzzing from under the dirt. I didn't dig it up. I left it there, still buzzing. I started hearing something under the floor, not scratches anymore, movement, shifting, breathing, footsteps that didn't match mine, pacing, circling. I slept with a knife, then a shotgun, then nothing, because I knew it wouldn't matter. One night I woke up and the forest was inside. The smell, the cold, the sounds, not just outside the window, in the walls, in my lungs. I think tonight is the night. The pressure is constant now. My ears won't stop ringing. The trees move even when the wind is still. The ground hums under my feet. The forest pulses like a living thing, like a throat clearing itself. The knocking hasn't stopped for hours. Same place, same rhythm, same impossible presence. 3 slow knocks. Then silence. Then the whisper. It no longer says words, just breath, just memory. It doesn't need to speak. I feel it, inside my bones, inside my blood. I stopped locking the door. I stopped closing my eyes. I leave the lights off now. It sees better in the dark, and I want to see it too. Not out of curiosity, not out of bravery, out of inevitability. I belong to the forest now, to the space between the trees, to the breath beneath the soil. I feel myself slipping, skin looser, voice softer, heart slower. I barely recognize my hands anymore. My fingerprints are gone, smoothed out, as if erased. My veins are black. My teeth ache when the forest moans. I speak the symbols in my sleep, the ones carved into the siding, into my skin, into the bark of the trees that move when I'm not looking. The house is wrong now, bigger inside, colder. I hear footsteps above the ceiling, but there is no second floor. The mirror shows hallways that don't exist. The shadows stretch in the wrong direction. I touched the wall last night and it breathed. Slow, warm, alive. It whispered one final word. Home, I cried. Not out of fear, but recognition. This is where I've always been going. The forest line is closer than ever, just 6 steps from the porch. I counted. It breathes in sync with me. I open the door. The air is thick, heavy, sweet, like rot and honey. I walk slowly, barefoot. The grass dies beneath each step. My shadow doesn't match my body anymore. It lags, moves different. I see eyes in the trees, long and low, tall and high, all watching, all waiting. I take one more step. The forest hums. The trees lean in. The ground opens slightly, just enough, just wide enough. I see something moving below. Pale arms, twisting roots, smiling mouths, all whispering, all calling. I feel myself lean forward. My feet slide across the line. I am past it now. I hear one last sound, not from behind me, from inside me. A voice I know, my voice, saying something simple, soft, final. I remember. Then everything goes still. The trees stop moving. The wind holds its breath. The cabin disappears behind me. There is no going back. There never was. The forest is everything now, and I am part of it. And it is awake, and it is watching you.